Okay. So with these two sentences, we're using the possessive. I also tend to, I'll include oftentimes an indexing, a point. So it'd be um, to set up that there's a person there. In conversation, it may already be there. You may be pointing to a person, but the idea that like that person there, Yoko, generations. You'll sometimes see it with a G, but that's very much English. Full Japan. Or strong means is it can mean 100%, but it's not as complete. This just means you're predominantly one kind, and we'll see that in a little bit. Whereas Joshua is half and half, right? So on one side it's Jewish, the other half it's Polish. So, or I think it's reverse. Yeah, it's the reverse. Okay. Um, but again, we're looking at just a simple parent, parent. Now we get a little bit more complicated. Now, American Indian, it's still a rather hotly debated choice of signs. There's an older sign, Indian, and people have drawn a comparison to like feathers or something. I believe it was a much more dark and ugly reference, but Indian or Native American um, should just be American, right? um, so I'm going to do Native American just for this because I don't like to use this sign. So, and I'm this is one possibility too, is if you set this up as him, then you can refer to it. So here's where we see that strong, right? So like 3/4. Okay. Now even more complicated. See, again, I like to set this up because I feel like this is very clear we're talking about a person. I want to remind myself of what Yugoslavian is. Hold on a second. Okay. I mean, the difficulty is that with the political situation in what was Yugoslavia, there are a lot of different ways. And I wanted to see if Spread the Sign had the old sign for Yugoslavia, pre 90s, and then each of the successive ones. I think the biggest one to focus on right now would be Serbia. Serbia, Montenegro. I'm not sure if they have Montenegro. Let me just double check. Montenegro. No, there isn't one. Okay. So, again, politics makes it sometimes very difficult to go searching for these things. All right, I'm going back here. So, Serbia. So, the sign for Serbia is, and it's kind of hard to see from the drawing, but it looks like it's a C that goes across the forehead. It's hard to see the thumb in this picture. But if you look at this one, here, number 2, Serbia. So it's kind of the individuals here are bent like a slim C, maybe. Up here, Serbia. It may be tipped forward, but Serbia going across. Right, just back from there. So there are other signs. I believe Yugoslavia used to be the sash going across. I wish Spread the Sign had the old signs too. Anyway. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. All right, there we go. So, I should close this a little bit. There, that's a little better. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so half 1/2, right? Half or split. I'm going to just say Serbian, half Italy or Italy. Now, the older American sign is Italy. Their current sign is Italy, kind of like you're drawing the shape of the country. And then there were many conflicts. And conflict on many. Now, we're repeating this. That also reinforces the idea, or actually this shows many. This reinforces the idea of many conflicts. And now, many comes forward, if you remember, as opposed to up. This is how many, and it ties in with the eyebrows going up of how many. Actually, you'll see how many signed a couple of different ways. You'll see it up like this, how many, or if I'm asking for like a number, how many, if I'm asking like, was it a lot? Were there many? Versus how many, right? So this, I also find myself doing this. If I'm asking the question many, I tend to throw it this as opposed to like, were there many versus up in the air. You'll kind of get the feel for that as you go along. I would say for the rule of thumb, many go to the front. Many, many, many. How many go up? Toss those toothpicks in the air so someone has to count them. Okay. Right. And there's a diagram. I think it helps to see where you're placing people. So at this point, we've probably already in class discussed nationality, unless you're watching this beforehand, and then start prepping your own so we can just throw it in conversation. Generation, how far back can you go in your family? Strong, meaning more than half, like 3/4 or more would be easily this sign for strong. Full, 100% full conflict. And this oftentimes is political conflicts between nationalities, crossing swords, right? It could also be there are problems in the family. There are other ways of signing that one, but personal arguments tend to be more like this, or like insulting, half split, right? You can also do a quarter, 3/4, 1/4, 3/4. And the contrastive structure is going to help tremendously. So you've got one parent on one side, another parent on the other side. Then from this side, well, both sides, but from this side, you could have the right-hand side and the left-hand side. So each time you can do that contrastive structure. Boom, 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 boom. Picturing it is going to be the clearest. Otherwise, we end up just signing everything happening right in the middle, and then it's really confusing. That's really all. We're just practicing getting used to talking about, and it's that possessive pronoun. We've worked on it in previous chapters, but now since we're talking specifically about family members, we're getting a little bit more specific of this person, their mom, their dad over there. Okay. So that's 15.7. Cool. Again, I broke up these chapters into bite-sized pieces, and if you've gone through signing naturally up to this point, a lot from this pink book has been put into the blue and the purple books to expand them out. So as they're redoing the pink book, they're either creating new materials or finding ways of building upon the stuff that they've already moved to the purple and the blue. So while we're using this pink book, it's going to be a bit awkward at times. Cool. That's 15.7.